off to the mountains and into the trees, far from what civilization sees. Become part of the clan or go your own way, underneath to the warmth of iron and clay. Grab your club and keep your bear trap at hand, and join our journey to the Tribelands.
Twyddle, where are you running to?
Twyddle is running to a place that she knows is secure and very special to her.
Wynni, after a moment of time, it's weird. It's like space kind of blurs before your eyes. And a moment later, you're moving again. And Twyddle is just gone, as if she's vanished. What do you do?
Oh, wait. Where's Twyddle? Twyddle?
Where did she go?
I don't know, but we have to go find her. Merryweather.
But the there's a lot. But the locksmith and the Merryweather's hands are in her pockets on the papers that she grabbed.
What do you mean there's a locksmith? There are locksmiths everywhere. There's only one Twyddle.
No. You go.
What?
I need to do something first. You go.
Where will we even okay.
Take the boat.
Are you sure?
Yeah. I'm sure look, Twyddle just disappeared, okay? And if there's anything I know is that when people disappear, you got to go find them. And I need to do something here first, and you should go look for her.
I don't understand, but I don't have time for questions. So, okay.
And I'll assume that then I remove any sort of alarm spell from the Flipperwind glide boat of the land but not sky and sea. Or sea.
Say, the alarm is gone. Take it.
Okay, we'll be back here later.
Okay, we'll meet up later.
See you then.
Be safe.
And Wynni runs out.
The locksmith is just kind of watching this happen and looking a little bit confused, and Blossom is looking a little nervous. So she excuses herself and heads back to the counter, and you're left standing across from this blacksmith, Merryweather, who is looking at you, has a toolkit at his side, and he just says, I do understand if you had to go, but I heard you wanted to see me.
I do want to see you. That's a interesting toolkit you have there.
It's a pretty standard toolkit.
Oh, okay. But the way you use it makes it interesting, huh?
I'm afraid I don't take your meaning. I don't have long. One of my employees called in sick today, and I'm taking on some of the extra workload. I'm happy to help if you have any questions, or if you're interested in hiring the business for any metal work. We do all sorts of things. Locksmithing's just one of many things under the umbrella, so
So, do you have access to all these rooms?
I do. That is a strange question.
Look, I'm just thinking that, I am a security officer. I need access to all these rooms, so if you could just hand me over your key, that gives you access to all the rooms. I'll use it real quick to do my investigating and get it right back to you.
And you've talked to the hotel staff about this?
Yes. It was prearranged. That's why she wanted me to meet up with you. Specifically, that's why she said my name.
You're going to have to roll me a deception check, my friend.
Oh my. Well, that is a 4? True Merryweather style.
His eyes kind of narrow, and he's just a little bit taller than you, Merryweather, and he kind of looks at you and says, "Look, I don't know why you need in those rooms or why you think you need in those rooms, but is everything okay?"
Yes? Well, yes?
Look,
What?
I have a job to do, okay? I don't want to have to call the police if I don't have to.
No need.
And if you need help, I've been in pretty bad straits before myself, and I've done some things that
Oh.
I
Well, let me put it this way. When you go into all the rooms, if you happen to notice any other, a cute little gnome, just let me know. I'm in room 5A.
okay.
That would be the greatest help to me.
Sure thing. And try to stay out of trouble. I won't tell, but for my sake too.
This conversation will remain strictly confidential. And then I wink and then walk away.
Okay, where do you go?
Back to 5A.
Okay. Yeah, the room is there like you left it for breakfast this morning. And you haven't checked out yet, especially since I don't think anyone of you knows for sure whether you'll be staying the night again. So what things you brought in are still strewn about the room or neatly arranged depending on the type of people they belong to. And but things are as you left them.
I go and put the do not disturb sign onto the door.
Okay.
And then lock the door lock the little top lock thing that Laura kept getting annoyed about at PodCon.
Oh my god. It just was so dumb.
Look, safety first, you guys. I locked the little top door lock thing, and then Merryweather goes and sits on the bed and kind of like nestles into Shimmer, and then pulls out the papers that she stole from Blossom.
Yeah. You look over the first paper, and it's pretty standard. You've been here a number of times in the past, and all of those times are noted in your account. And as you shift papers to the other one, this one with a different name on it, you recognize a lot of those dates that align the ones that are listed on your page as well. Several times on the list, it was the two of you, and you can look back and remember what each of those dates were. So, Merryweather, what is one of the memories you have of Lucky when you last came to Underwall?
I think Merryweather looks at that very first date that matches up, and starts to think back to the time when she and Lucky came to Underwall for the very, very first time, and it must have been maybe 80 years ago, 90 years ago, who knows exactly, but a long time ago, a long, long time ago. And she remembers it being right after their elopement when they ran off and ended up in Underwall looking for adventure. And they'd heard about the Underdark tours. And she remembers when they were sitting there together looking at those horrors so far off that it was thrilling and it was terrifying. And she clung to his arm, and he whispered in her ear that she never need to be afraid because he would always be there, ready to keep her safe. And then she starts to cry.
It's been several decades since you've been to Underwall, and all of the dates on here reflect that. But the last date catches your eye because it was still several decades back, but it stands out to you because the date listed was 1 year after you last saw Lucky.
What?
She pulls it up real close to her face and is her hands kind of start shaking as she's looking at it, and her breath gets really short, and she's like, he was here a year ago, he was here.
Shimmer nestles closer into your back.
Why didn't he come for me?
We're gonna skip over to Wynni. Wynni, what are you doing the moment you leave the flower bed and breakfast?
I'm looking around to see any trail of Twyddle as I'm running to the glide boat. Once I reach the glide boat, I try to work it, because Merryweather taught us how to drive it on our way here, but I had a partner.
A very strong partner.
Very strong partner. But I don't go too fast because I'm stopping and I'm asking people have you seen a woman that if you were to scan a room, you would see her last. Have you seen her in this crowd of people, maybe, by chance? She's small like me. She would be running.
Okay, are you riding on the boat and saying this?
Yep.
Okay, so you're like yelling at people as you go by?
Yeah.
They don't really generally have time to answer because you're in a glide boat.
Huh. As things go on and I can't seem to find her, I decide to send her a message. I use the spell Sending, which allows me to send a short message of 25 words or less to a creature with which I am familiar. They hear the message in their mind, recognizes I'm the sender, and can answer in a like manner immediately. I can send the message across any distance, even to other planes of existence. Oh, snap. Why haven't I contacted my baby, Ballard Bane?
Oh, no.
Well, we're putting a pin in that for now. But I will be back to that nonsense. Wynni remembers just how magical she is.
Put that in the episode summary. Whatever.
Yes, that's for sure. Okay. So, yeah, you have 25 words. Go.
Twyddle, it's me, Wynni. Don't be scared. I know that man, and you have history. I want to find you. Meet me by the statue.
Wow.
Nailed it.
Wow.
Yeah, that was amazing.
I thought you were going to have to, like, take some time to think about it, but, like, just slay.
That's what she's been working on. Okay, should I respond?
Twyddle can respond.
I would say, Wynni, the voice you hear back is, and I didn't tell Renee I was doing this, is very childlike. And it says, he remembers me. My daddy remembers. He will find me here.
Wynni, that's the response you get. What do you do with that?
Well, gosh darn it. At least the statue is by where that creepy man is.
Do you turn the Flipperwind glide boat around?
Yeah, she does. She knows what she needs to ask this man.
Okay. Tell me what you do.
Okay. I take the glide boat, put it back. I cannot lock it down. So I hope nobody takes it. But I put it back where it was. I go inside and look for, what is his name?
Belmore.
Belmore. I look for Belmore.
You find the locksmith pretty quickly. He's working his way down the hallway, but he is knelt down outside in the hall in front of one of the doors working on the locks.
Excuse me, Mr. Belmore?
Hello? Sorry. Oh, you are from earlier, right? Your friend is the one who disappeared?
Yeah, and, I don't really know how to... You're the guy in the statue, huh?
Oh, the statue out there? Yeah, it's an older work of mine. It's, nothing really, just, yeah. No, I'm proud of that piece.
Yeah, but you didn't just make it. It's about you, right?
Yeah, you can, you can read about it on the plaque if you want to know more. There are a bunch of documentaries and, stuff like that. If you want to know the story, I'd prefer not to rehash it. You understand.
Absolutely. I just, look, my friend ran away, and my other friend didn't come with me to find her, and I have to find her by myself. And this is gonna sound kind of weird, but is there a place that your daughter would go when she was scared? I don't know this town at all.
My daughter, why would my daughter have anything to do with where to find your friend?
I'm not really allowed to explain. I don't think it's not on me. It's not me. I know it's very weird, but can you please help me? That's all I need.
He looks at you for a really long time. He's knelt down, so he's a little bit shorter than you are right now, and it's hard to read the expression on his face. But after a moment, his lips turn into a soft smile. He says, My daughter used My daughter used to run away. It wasn't meant to hurt us or anything. I don't think. It was just she was mischievous and had her own way about things. So when she felt she needed her way or a place where she could be comfortable, there was an old park by our house. We could always find her there.
Where's that park?
Couple blocks away from here. If you take a right outside of the flower bed and breakfast, head down the street 3 blocks, take a left, and go 4 blocks that away, you'll see it. Granite Park.
Granite Park. Thank you. I think that you're great. And I'm sorry. And she goes.
You see a little bit of mist in his eye as he blinks and tries to refocus on the lock in front of him. As you leave the flower bed and breakfast yet again and head for Granite Park. Merryweather.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
What are you doing?
I think Merryweather has suddenly seeing that Lucky not only is alive, but in her mind, if he was here, he must be close, even though it's been decades and decades. This is the most information she has ever had to go off of, ever. I think that she is just overtaken with, I have to find him. What am I doing here? He's out there. I have to get to him. And just like hurriedly throwing things into her bag of holding and like packing, essentially.
You hear a knock at the door.
Merryweather stops abruptly, feeling a little anxious that maybe it's one of the others, Twyddle, or I mean, not anxious if it were Twyddle, that'd be like, oh my goodness, but she's anxious.
Oh no, Twyddle!
Oh my God, she's here. But she opens the door a little bit, and then it gets caught onto the top lock because she forgot about it.
That's what I'm saying. And you know what? They're very easy to cut off. That's not going to protect you from anybody if they want to break in. That's all I'm saying.
So opening it, and she looks out to see who it is before bothering to open it all the way. She opens, look to that crack.
You see Madaris standing in the hallway.
Shut the front door!
Hi, hello, hail and well met, Fablemates. Wow, February was a month, and thank you so much to each of you who celebrated our birth month with us. As of February 19th, we are officially a year old, and that's so exciting. We're really excited for the adventure that we have coming up in the next year as well. This episode, though, is a bit of a sad one. It marks the exit of Becca from the podcast and Merryweather the gnome artificer from the story. We had such an incredible experience recording and making this show with Becca over the past year. She brought such joy and such excitement and such creativity and talent and skill. It was a real blessing, and we're so sorry to see her go, but glad for the opportunities that we had and that we will still have. For more information, you can follow us on social media at FateFMCast or find us on our website, FateFMCast.com. We have a creation contest going on, and because it has been such a month, we are going to be extending the deadline for that 2 weeks. These creations can be anything. We've so far gotten some art, which is incredible, and a playlist, which is also incredible. I've been listening to it all the time. So it's really cool to see things that are themed around or inspired by the show. If you've created anything that has been inspired by or themed around Fate and the Fablemaidens, please let us know on Twitter. We would love to see it. We'll be sending out awards in 3 categories, one for the creation, one for creativity, and one that's just for kids. We want to say a huge thank you to our sponsors, Dragon's Lair Comics and Fantasy in Austin, Texas. They are a great store. You can find them at dlair.net/Austin. It's a big game store, but also comic store, but also general nerd store. So really they have just everything that I love, and I love spending time there as well. There are tons of events that you can check out online, and if you're ever in the area passing through, or if you live there, definitely swing by to check it out. Thank you so much also to our patrons. Sam has taken over the Patreon and is doing an incredible job, and it's a huge relief, really. So be looking for more Patreon content coming soon. Thank you, JP Diavando, for writing our theme song, Fate and Fable, and thank you all again for celebrating with us, and thank you, Becca, for your time with Fate and the Fablemaidens.
She slams the door shut. And then she unlocks the top one.
He's dressed similarly to
The door's closed. She can't see him anymore.
Right. Well, when you saw him... Okay. Do you open the door again? Then I'll do it.
Then she goes and undoes the top lock and just like opens the door. Her mouth is just like dropped open, and she's just kind of like standing there.
His is too, a little bit. He's dressed the same way that you saw him before with, he has a button-up shirt and suspenders and trousers, and his hair is, like, nicely coiffed. And he's holding a paper bowl full of rainbows and just kind of looking at you.
Wynni's not here right now. Can I help you? Well, you can come in. How's Julius and your other sister, whose name escapes me? They're in.
Fine. Yeah. Okay. And he comes in. He like shovels a spoonful of rainbows into his mouth as he kind of like walks into the room, and his eye catches on your suitcase and on Shimmer next. And then he looks back to you. You want to go after him?
I have to go after him. I love him.
I'm not here to see Wynni Merryweather, though she's part of the reason I am.
Of course, I figured.
I heard a prayer yesterday, and I thought now would be a good time to check in on you. It seems I was right.
About what?
You don't have to finish the quest.
I don't?
You don't.
I can go look for him?
You can. It was never meant to be something that held you hostage. It was something I needed help with, and I thought I could help you in return.
I don't want the world to be destroyed. That's not what this is. It's not like I'd rather find him and let the world burn or anything like that. I want the world to be safe. That's just, I know Wynni and Twyddle could do it. I just have to find him, if he's alive still.
For them, for Elwyn and Lasmora, this quest gave them purpose. For you, well, you've had purpose all along. You didn't need me for that. But I can't help you, you know. If you choose to leave the quest, that's fine. I respect your decision, but I will no longer be able to offer my aid.
This is the biggest clue I've found in all these years. The only clue I've found. And if no clue was enough to look for him, if it was enough to look through every room for him, then one clue is more than enough to go back into all of the world.
I understand. I can't make you a lot of promises. I don't know what they'll think, and I can't promise you what you'll find. But I understand.
Thanks, Mid. I'm glad Wynni has you.
I'm glad for all of you. And I can pass along a message if you'd like. Or, well, anything else you'd like them to have.
Well, I was making a little bit of a pile. I think there's something I need to give back to you.
And she takes off the ring that's presumably like jewelrous related and like holds it out to him. And this side note, I think, is in the hand that has the police tracker on it. Clap, clap.
So he sets the bowl of rainbows down on the counter of the dresser. And he looks at the ring for a moment before he takes it and says, "You understand this was a gift. And sure, it was intended for the journey I set out before you, but if it can aid you, you're welcome to keep it."
That has to do with jewelrous, right? This ring?
It does.
Well, maybe she could help me.
She might.
So should I keep the ring? To, like, help with that, be like, it's my in, like, hey, I met your brother, he gave me this ring, or...
It's as cliche as it sounds. It's up to you. I know there's a perception that gods are full of answers, and to some extent, we are. I have a lot of answers that I can't give you right now. You can make the decision for yourself, and if you want to give it back, I will make sure it finds someone who needs it just as much.
I think that if you can hear Wynni, I'm sure Julius will be able to hear me, with the ring or no. I think it'd be better if someone else could have that ring. Someone who hasn't learned how to survive as well as I have.
He nods and takes the ring.
And there's one other thing.
And her hand is like still out there. And she kind of points to the police tracker on her wrist.
He quirks an eyebrow. So you want a favor after all?
Yes, I guess I do. If you could, Look, I have to break the law sometimes to try to find what I'm looking for, who I'm looking for. I can't look in every room and go to every place if the eyes of the law are constantly tracking me.
The eyes of the law will most certainly constantly track you if you take that off your wrist. I can help you, but as before, a favor for a favor.
What is it?
I will take that off your wrist if you will do something for me.
Uh-huh.
And I'll throw in the advice that you may want to try to stay on the down low, maybe get a new look or something, because they'll want to know why you never came back.
Because I clearly was the one that stole Ballard Bane in the rift.
I know exactly what you did there. That doesn't mean they do, and maybe they'll understand eventually, but for your own sake, take my advice or leave it. I'm just a god, nothing but a god. And he reaches down and he slips the tracker off your wrist and he sets it in your palm, and then he points to it. On your way out of town, slip that on whoever catches your eye. You'll know them when you see them. He winks, and then he looks off behind you, pausing for a moment as if he's listening to something. I should go. I've been here too long already. Not my plane, you know. Is there anything else?
I think Merryweather then just goes up to him and gives him a hug.
Thanks, Mid. Thanks for everything.
He hugs you back, and he smiles. Do you have anything you'd like me to pass along to Wynni, to Twyddle? No favor needed, just a god checking in on a quest.
Actually, yeah.
And she looks down at her robe with all her many patches, and there's one that looks kind of like a scroll, and she rips it off, and then in her hand, it turns into an actual spell scroll. And then she sees another one, and it looks kind of like a bottle, and she rips it off, and then, like, kind of tumbling out of her hands comes 4 potions of healing.
And she's like, could you give them these things? I don't know what this spell scroll does, but I'm sure it'll be useful.
I'd be happy to.
And could you tell them that I hope their lives turn out great. I hope that I hear from them soon at some point, and I hope that they'll be happy. Yeah. And that they save the world, too. I mean, that's, like, #1 goal. Like, if that doesn't happen, then, like, who cares, right? But, like, you know, after doing that, I hope they'll be happy.
And I hope you find him. Your husband, I mean.
Thanks. Me too.
He gathers all of the things that you just kind of put in his arms, and with a wave of his hand, they're gone.
Hey! I gave you to...
Those to give to them.
I don't have a bag on me. Just pockets. Way too shallow for 4 potions of healing.
Okay.
You can trust me. I'll deliver your message, and I'll deliver these to them.
Thanks, Mid.
He grabs his bowl of rainbows from the counter and heads to the door. And he pauses as he puts his hand on the doorknob. And Knackle?
Yeah?
He looks back at you, and he tilts his head and he gives you a thumbs up. I still believe you're going to be great. And instead of the door opening, Mid is gone.
Merryweather smiles, grabs her bags, gets Shimmer up off the bed, and says,
Come on, Shimmer. Let's go find Lucky.
Shimmer lets out a very cat-like yawn.
Okay, get a little faster than that. Come on, let's go. You got 4 legs. We gotta get going fast.
And then she trots out of the room with you.
and then as she passes Blossom,
Oh, gosh.
I'm sure that other pink-haired gnome is fine. If you see him again, sometime while you're out at lunch or something, just tell him Merryweather's still around. Don't forget about me, you know. Okay, see you later, Blossom.
You realize as you're saying it, maybe a little too late, that Blossom's shift has ended, and it is a new clerk at the counter who is looking very, very confused.
You know what? Service industry, can't keep them apart. Okay.
Oh, no.
I'm gonna let you narrate this last little bit if you'd like.
Yeah, so then Merryweather hops onto the back of Shimmer. There's a little like, giddy up! She's kind of still shaking at the realization that if her husband is alive, he didn't die in the events that she thought that he had died in, that he's still around and he's somewhere. But she is filled with this like new life and this new determination based on this clue. And she's riding out just like her hair kind of bouncing and whipping around in the wind with Shimmer going as fast as Shimmer can. She sees some random person. I don't know. Who do I know, Renee? Who's the person that I see as I'm leaving?
I can't tell you that yet.
You don't know? I see the person. Whoever that person is. They must look real shady.
It's more of like a feeling in your heart.
A shady feeling in Merryweather's heart. I'm sure she misinterprets whatever feeling she has as,
they must really need to be tracked by the cops. They must be real shady people. I have no idea what's going on.
And she's gonna slip it onto him and like, bye! And get back onto Shimmer as fast as she can. And just run off, going, like, putting her hands on her head with a Nan and a Boo Boo and, like, sticking her tongue out. As she runs out of Underwall, back into the world.
And I couldn't imagine a more fitting way for her to go.
Boo. Cry. Sad.
Twyddle,
Yes.
where have you ended up?
I think, like, it's one of those instances where your feet just take you somewhere. And so I have swiftly, as I can, in my studded leather armor and whatnot, journeyed over to Granite Park, one of my favorite places when I was little. And there's a kind of a rickety old bridge that's there. And, I mean, it's to the point where the grass is overgrown. And kind of into the concrete is this opening. And even the size of Mary, I can't fit in there. And so I returned to an old form, which I haven't returned to voluntarily in a very long time.
Can you describe what this form looks like for us?
This form is of a dwarven child with bouncing golden curls. It's a little bit different than whenever I used to take it, because I am a full-grown changeling at this point. So I'm a little oversized for being 5, but it'll work. A little lanky for being only 5. And I crawl up into the little crevice, and that's where I am whenever Wynni messages me.
Wynni, you find Granite Park easily enough, and the glide boat takes you there very quickly. Dwarven blocks are rather large, as many of the buildings are built together, and there aren't as many streets, but it's not far. from the flower bed and breakfast, and you see this park. It's mostly gravel for the flooring, the foundation, I suppose. And there are metal slides, a metal playground, and you see a few kids playing on the swings and on a few little metal animals that are just on springs and stuck into the gravel below.
Is one of them a beholder?
Absolutely, one of them is a beholder. One of them is a dragon.
A Pegasus?
A beholder, a dragon, and a Pegasus?
Yeah.
You know what?
Aw, heck yeah.
Sure, why not?
Only an underwall.
The kids fight over what they're feeling like that day. And a kraken.
Oh my gosh.
Of course. What else?
No, that's it. That's all I had. There's only four metal animals.
That's what I meant. What else would it be?
And there's like a jungle gem. There's kids swinging across the monkey bars. But you don't see Twyddle right away. And that's not too surprising because you didn't recognize Twyddle's voice, and you know that her voice changes when she changes forms.
Well, it's a statue, so I'm assuming it wasn't particularly forthcoming with details on features.
There were not really features as far as like specific features. I think the artistic license was meant to make it meaningful to a number of people. However, you remember the form of the statue, and it doesn't look like any of the children you see currently on the playground.
Well, I guess I'm going to investigate then, because I don't want to just shout out and then have her like get scared and run somewhere else or hide further away.
That's fair.
So I'm going to try to find her first.
Okay, yeah. Roll me an investigation check, please.
It's a nat 1, but I can roll that sucker again.
Halfling!
Lucky!
Mm-hmm.
But not the other lucky. Not the one that's story relevant.
Okay, that's 11.
Okay. Yeah, you work your way through this park, and you're getting frustrated because, gosh, she is nowhere on this jungle gym. She is not in the little tunnel. She is not on the slide or under the slide. She's not one of the kids over on the metal animals. She's not even on the swings. And you're starting to get very frustrated until you see a small metal bridge. It's part of the walking path that surrounds the park, maybe for the parents or for babysitters who come to walk around while the kids play on the playground. And it loops around the entirety of the jungle gem and all of the other features here. And under this small bridge, there's a little gap, and you see a spiked boot poking out from underneath.
I get down and I crawl over to that little space. Hi, friend.
I kind of look up. I'm a little surprised to see you, but I'm not upset about it. Hi. That's my dad.
He told me where to find you.
He did?
Yeah, he knew.
Wynni, I think he remembers me. They told me he wouldn't remember me, but he does.
And whatever happened still makes him sad.
Yeah, it makes me sad too.
And Wynni, nuzzles up next to Twyddle and gives her a little hug.
There's nothing I can do, Wynni.
You don't need to do anything, Twyddle. I don't know what happened. It can't be undone. But maybe you could, I don't know. We could talk about it.
She's gonna nod. Wynni, you don't know about changelings.
No, you're kind of my first.
We do terrible things, and I think it's too much.
Twyddle, you're good. Whatever it is, you are still good.
I can't go back, but I want to.
Maybe there's something we could do. Probably can't go back, but maybe some kind of closure.
I'm an abomination.
Hey, don't say that. We met a god, and he said you're great. And I know self-worth comes from within, but if he didn't say anything bad about you, you shouldn't either. I don't think you're an abomination. You're my friend.
She's gonna nod and switch back to her Twyddle form.
It is much more cramped under this bridge in Twyddle form.
Yeah, I think I'm sliding out, as I do it, as I grow. And now it's
I feel like I was pushed out as you were growing.
And I think it's okay if we laugh a little.
Both of you kind of tumble out of this bridge, laughing, landing on your butts.
But we didn't come here for all of that. We have a job to do, and I want to make Mid proud.
Me too. Let's go get Merryweather, and we can talk on the way, and then we can figure out what's next.
Works for me. Oh, I can show you all the things, too.
Okay.
So I feel like we get up, and as we walk, I'm pointing out different things from my childhood. And honestly, this feels really good, because I've never been able to really talk about Underwall before.
What are some of your favorite places that you point out to Wynni?
Well, obviously the park.
Obviously.
And I point out houses as we go by. Like my best friend, Steldorf, he lived there, but he didn't really think I was his best friend because like I was always like putting frog in his pants. But he's my best friend, and that's where this old lady lives. I don't remember her name, but she would give me candy, even though my mom told me I wasn't allowed to have any. And, oh, that's that over there. That's where my dad taught me how to do cartwheels. It was kind of like while we were walking.
When he just listens and laughs along with them, and she tries to get you to do a cartwheel, but then realizes you're on a glide boat. Maybe later.
Also, you wouldn't beat me at that. When he said put her tumbler. And I will say, like, when we pull up to the hotel or the inn, is it an inn or is it a hotel? It's an inn. It's a B&B. So when we pull up to the bed and breakfast, I'm just gonna take Winnie's shoulders and look her in the eyes and say, Wynni, I'm done running away.
Promise?
She nods and says, promise. And then she takes a hand off your shoulder, puts it in front of her, spits in it, and then extends it to you.
She does it without hesitation.